Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to an extra John Gaunt show. The UK train stabbing. According to the police, according to the government, according to the authorities, it's not terrorism. What the hell is it then? Let's discuss that for this next half hour. Just what aren't we being told? I smell a rat. Do you? Let's talk about it. Let's get talking. If you've got an opinion, I want to hear it on the John Gaunt Show. Let's go. Good afternoon. John Gaunt, obviously. We desperately need to talk, which is why I'm doing this show. A train full of innocent passengers, stabbed, terrified, bleeding, and yet somehow we're told this isn't terrorism. Imagine what it would feel like. You're in a train carriage. Some nutcase starts with a huge knife. You go to the next carriage, the next one. But the further you go down the train, they're still coming. It's like something out of a horror movie. You cannot get off the train. I must just at this point say well done to the train driver, the train crew, and of course the coppers who had these men apprehended once the train pulled into that station. But the bottom line is, if this isn't terrorism, what the effing hell is it? Because I would have been terrified, wouldn't you? So if it's not terrorism, what is it? What the hell is it? And why aren't they telling us the truth? See, they didn't then go on to say, well, it's not terrorism, but it's this. It was two guys having a fight and it escalated. They haven't given us any real information. And it's interesting that they say they're both British people. Don't know whether to use the word citizens, but they say they're both black. One is of Afro-Caribbean descent. Why did they make that say that? What does the matter is that? I don't get it. I just don't get it. And where is the Prime Minister? I'll tell you where he is. He's packing his budgie smugglers because he's off to go loco down in Acapulco. He flies to Brazil tomorrow. That man, that cretin, that coward, he should still be in this country dealing with this problem. Not just this violence, but all of the violence we've had over the past couple of weeks. I was going to say months, but it's the past couple of months. Do we want to talk about the woman in Warsaw stabbed 19 times in the head by a migrant? Maybe we want to talk about the Nuneaton rapes. Maybe we want to talk about the Afghan who didn't want to go home and then we paid him 500 quid. This country is in crisis. Your Prime Minister, your Supreme Leader, he's going to the Amazon to save the planet. He's going to hug a tree with Prince William, but he's going on a 747. That's really eco, isn't it? He shouldn't be going. The only reason he's going is because of that gap-toothed twat, Zach, whatever his name is, head of the Green Party. He's worried that they're going to take, Starmer's worried that they're going to take some of Labour's votes. There's no point worrying, Starmer. You're finished. You're toast. Next election, you're out with your corrupt Chancellor, which we haven't forgotten about. It's quite obvious why Starmer's still going. He's going so he can avoid PMQs on Wednesday. But don't worry, David Lammy's standing in for him, so at least it'll be entertaining. He's also going to avoid any questions about his crooked, corrupt Chancellor, because that's what she is. She broke the law. If you did that, you'd have a massive fine. It looks like she's going to get away scot-free. Animal Farm. All animals are equal except their self-serving pigs of Westminster. Are you with me or against me? Let's get back to the trains, though. Please keep writing your comments. I'm going to come to you. This is going to be a comment-heavy show. It's down to you. It's your first chance, I think, to have a say. Because the mainstream media, they've bought the government's line. Even GB News, I couldn't believe it. GB News are going on about knife crime. How do we combat knife crime? Listen, knife crime needs combating, but this isn't knife crime like two thugs knifing each other in the street. It isn't that. But the whole conversation of the BBC and GB News, I've got to call it out when I see it, has been about knife crime. Why? That isn't what's happened. I'm not saying it's terrorism. I don't know. But it's two blokes get on a train and start slashing innocent people they've never met before. Behave yourself. What is that? It's a form of terror, whether it's actual terrorism in terms of, Islamist, obviously, maybe not. But it's still terror. Right, let's move on. It's not terrorism. So what the hell is it? The authorities are saying there's no wider threat. Oh, yeah. So why have they this afternoon announced that there'll be many more police officers deployed on trains and in train stations, but only till Tuesday? I don't know what they're hoping for. On Tuesday, everything goes back to Happy Land, does it? Everything goes back to the Hogwarts Express rather than Midnight Express. But they're beefing up security at every station across the UK. Does that sound to you like there's no continuing threat? I smell a rat. What about you? Once again, we're being spoon-fed half-truths and spin. They've learnt nothing after Southport. Why don't they just tell us the effing truth? We're big enough. We can handle it. We can take it. Tell us the truth. It was like a tick box of politically correct woke things to say that copy came out with today. Absolutely disgraceful. Who are these two? Why can't we know their names? Why haven't they been charged? And also, they play with words. See, some of the news channels are saying there's no link to terrorism. That's not quite what the cop has said. Like a trained politician, it's the words he didn't say that matter. Mark my words, this will be terrorism. Talking about Southport, Rudy Cabana, they told us he was a Welsh choir boy. They said there was no links to terrorism. Then they found a fucking Al-Qaeda pamphlet, bomb-making and ricing information in his little bedroom. Are we being told the truth? I think we're being spoon-fed half-truths and spin, and I think it's a disgrace. And ordinary people now are going to be scared to get on a train. And as I say, where is our supreme leader? Where is the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer? He's off to Brazil, where the nuts come from, to talk about saving the planet. Hobnobbing on the world stage again because he's a world statesman. He's a jumped-up, conceited coward, in my opinion. And if he wants to save anywhere, how about starting by saving Britain, saving the United Kingdom, our great and glorious country, which he has given away to the feral, the feckless, the foreigners, and the freeloaders, and the flip-flop warriors. This country is broken. Britain is broken. Violent crime is out of control. Trust in the government or any government has collapsed. And the public, you and I, deserve real answers, not polished bullshit statements from some copper who looks like he's only just left university after studying philosophy and social work. So tonight, I'm asking, if this isn't terrorism, what the hell is it? And why won't they tell us the truth? Because there's obviously more to come out. I want your thoughts. I even want your anger. I want your honesty. Right here, right now. This can only be JonGaunt, live and unchained, live and unleashed. Let's get on it. Thank you very much. That's the intro. If you can live up to that, join in and let's get talking now. What's that? 19 likes. That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. Hundreds watching already. Pass the stream on, restream it, tell people I'm here. And I'm going to start off with some people who wrote messages to me even before I went on air. Let's start with Alex Pipton on YouTube. Everyone on that train was pretty terrified. Precisely. They couldn't come out quickly enough to deny it had any terrorist links. It's amazing how quickly the police can work when it's in their best interest. Cynical, harsh, but maybe true. Simon G 5429. The truth scares the government. They're more interested in retaining votes than supporting their own people. They are more equal than us. and I'm from Salisbury. Ah, interesting point indeed. Thank you. Fraser Ford, he's just put a big thumbs up. Thank you very much indeed. Carol Howard, one of my oldest listeners, I don't mean she's old or ancient, I mean she's been listening to me and watching me for years, says, sounds like a terrorist attack cover-up. Yeah, but why would they cover it up, Carol? That's the bit I'm now getting my head round. Why aren't they telling us the truth? It's not as if we've overreacted every time this isn't this by the sound of it, but every time someone shouted Ali snack bar, we haven't overreacted, have we? No, we haven't. We've been extremely tolerant since 9/11 and indeed 7/7. Don't forget, I was broadcasting live that day when London was under attack. That program was unbelievable and outstanding. It was simulcast all over the country. I was on air for 7 hours, I think it was. But I tell you what, we then didn't go out and start just beating up Muslims. It didn't happen. It's bullshit, just like the word Islamophobia is bullshit. If they don't know the motive, how can they say it's not terrorism, says Carol, backing up her argument. You are bang on the money, Carol. You can stand in for me when I go on holiday. No, don't know what. I think it's on the 12th. The 12th of never, when I got some cash. Fraser Ford just says, wow. Afro-Caribbean descent to imply they're not Islamic. Yeah, I think that's why it was. I think this is what I'm saying, Simon. There was code. There was code being spoken today, right? I hope to God it's not terrorism. I am pleased as punch that it's not Islamist nutcases again. Of course I am. I'm also pleased that as we speak at this moment, no one's died, although 2 are fighting for their life. But I do know what it's like to commute into London. Did it for 30 odd years. I know what it's like to be on a packed train coming out of town. That I know this train was going down from Doncaster. But when the train's full, you know what it's like just when someone kicks off just being an arse. It's a horrible feeling because you are in a tube, so to speak, aren't you? You can't get out. It's like being an aeroplane when people start being objectionable. But imagine if there's blood everywhere and some nutcase is waving a knife. That is the very definition of terror and terrorism to me, because terrorism is not necessarily about killing people. It is about terrifying people to make people change their lives. Now, what I do want to say at this point, one person who should be changing his life or his arrangements is budgie smuggler number 1, Keir Starmer. He wants to go loco down in Acapulco. He wants to be there with Prince William. He wants to be the eco-warrior. Your job, your duty is to stay in the UK and get on top of this rampant crime, violent crime wave we've got, Starmer. Don't run off again. You should be at PMQs answering questions about this and answering questions about your crooked, corrupt, she should be in jail, Chancellor Rachel Thieves. You're running away again, and you think we're stupid enough to accept it. Well, we don't. What do you lot think? Do you agree with me? Let's have some comments on Starmer. He's all run away again. And I think it's an absolute disgrace. He's going to put Lammy at PMQs, so at least it'll be funny. But the bottom line is, Lammy could trot off to Brazil, couldn't he? Huh? Where the nuts come from. It'd fit in. But over to you. What's your view on that? If you want to help me, if you believe in what I'm doing, this is independent broadcasting right at the edge, then please support me. Just click the little $ on this YouTube video and donate as much as you can. It all goes to make it keep going, and it's growing like crazy. 1.7 million, nearly 1.8 million views now. We're getting there. We're going to hit 2 million by the end of this week. Support me both by watching all my stuff, joining JonGaunt TV on YouTube, which is completely free. Just press the subscribe button when it comes up. But you can also do it financially by pressing the $ and donating a few quid. Also, if you don't want to do it that way, you can go to www.buymeacoffee.com/JonGaunt and donate money there. They start at £5. And I just want to say a big thank you. I got to just find this for you. This guy, well, Richard Pope. We got a thing now where you can be a monthly supporter. So he joined as a monthly supporter. You don't have to. You Just do a one-off. But on Buy Me a Coffee, he became a monthly supporter for £5. Today, I got a cancellation notice just before I came on air. I thought, oh, that's a shame. But then after that, there was another one from the same guy, Richard Pope, and he basically said, I felt a bit mean only giving you £5 a month, so I've upped it to 15 quid a month. I hope you don't mind. Richard, I don't mind. I think that's marvellous. Thank you for valuing what I'm doing. I really appreciate it. Now, don't forget, you don't have to donate to watch. It's not the BBC. We won't send you to prison, but you could be part of this. You could be part of it, helping it and making it work. And for that, I want to thank you if you want to do that. Oh, who we got here? Joanna Kempton. She's just whacked up. She's just whacked in £1. Thank you, Joanna. That's brilliant. Everything helps. Let's move on. Mick Frinton-on-Sea. Hi, John. Must be a motive, not robbery. It's not mental illness because there's two of them. Two blokes fighting. Don't then turn on the whole train. Something's not right. Mick, that's exactly what I feel. If it was two fellas having a go at each other, they got on the train at Peterborough or wherever it was and started fighting, and one pulls out a machete. Yeah. But according to the eyewitnesses, they were going through the carriages, slashing everybody, including an old fella who stood up for a young girl. He got it in the neck. It doesn't add up. Why aren't they telling us the truth? Jackie Ward, I would love to know the government's definition of terrorism, because I don't know what else it could be, John. It must have been absolutely terrifying. Yeah. Well, they do it. It's basically they play with words. It's somebody claims responsibility, terrorist organization. So by their definition, it becomes terror. That's why Rudy Cabana at first, it wasn't terror. But then they get a real problem, don't they? Because they get lone wolves. It's all just bullshit. It's just all wrong. And they treat us as if we can't be trusted. That if they tell us the whole truth, we'll start rioting. No. I even saw this today on the telly. There was they've got to be careful because of Southport. Listen, the reason Southport and then the rest of the city, the country went on fire, that there was riots, was nothing about us knowing too much. It was us knowing too little. Even the government's, Starmer's own terrorism czar said that. He said, if you leave an information vacuum, then you can have trouble. John Carlyle, top terrorist czar in the world, he said the same. But they're twisting the history and the narrative now because do you know what? We're the enemy, the working class, especially the white working class. They're the ones who can't be trusted. They're the ones who have to have their skulls broken in protests. Oh, yeah. Not the ones with the balaclavas. Not the Palestinian Hamas-loving terrorist scum. No. Me and you. We're the enemy. We're the enemy within. Did you not know that? Let's move on. I'm going to blow a fuse in a minute. Craig Urquhart, Starmer would have been shitting himself in case they were illegals. Craig, do not assume that what they've told you so far is the truth. Do not. They are missing things at the moment. Rudy Cabana, they said he was a Welsh choir boy. Wasn't quite true, was it? Watch it, Craig. John, not being an arsehole, but the next election will be too late. We are absolutely fucked. Paul Parmenter, no, we can pull it back. We can pull it back. We've got to pull it back. Keir keeps getting greyer with stress. I don't care. I hope sorry, I can't say the next bit, but I think you can imagine what I'm saying. I don't give two shits about Keir Starmer. He's a liar. He's a fraud. He's a con man. He's a charlatan. He's a traitor. That's what he is. I don't care about him. But I do want him to still be in the country this week. But he won't. He's jetting out. I looked it up to find out when he's going. He's going tomorrow. The big day, the Earthshot crap, whatever it is with Prince William, that's not till Wednesday. But, oh, no, Keir's off on his 5-star trip now on his private jet. Makes you proud to be British, doesn't it? Denise Deacon, 905. Hi, Denise. Unfortunately for the government, I remember Axel Rudicabana was a Welsh choir boy. Yeah, you're backing me up there. Eventually, we'll hear they were radicalised. Well, I can think of no other reason, Denise. Why would you get on a train? I mean, I've been on a train with football hooligans. I've been on a train in Amsterdam with Ajax fans when they kicked off. But you know why they're kicking off. So the idea that these two guys got on, then started, well, they're not even saying they were fighting each other. They're saying the eyewitness reports are they were slashing everybody, just walking up the corridor, so to speak, the aisle, slashing people left and right. And then at first, people thought it was a Halloween joke. Then they realised because there was blood everywhere. No, this was real. Can you imagine what that'd feel like? Imagine if you're there with your missus or your kids. It's unbelievable. The very definition of terror, in my opinion. Jackie Ward, the third test is not quite met. The motivation must be for political, religious, cultural, or racial reasons. Simon, that's just bullshit, though, isn't it? And you know it, and I know it, and the government know it. Henry Ives, 57978, one of my regulars. Every week, another atrocity. It's time for the authorities to take the gloves off. He hasn't got any gloves, though, has he, Starmer? There'd be little lace doily ones if he did. Yeah? He doesn't want to get his hands dirty. We need a clamp down. We need a clamp down on knife crime, but I'm not going to fall into the mainstream, lamestream narrative. And I'm so disappointed with GB News today. I couldn't believe that they fell into it, starting talking about knife crime. It's not about knife crime, this. It's clearly not. Two lads outside the school gates knifing each other to death, which is horrid and all the rest of it. And I want that clamped down on. This wasn't that. But they fall into it and they're having big debates. Nearly every guest they got on was some knife crime expert or knife crime campaigner. And it sounds like I'm taking a mick, and I'm not. But, she lost her son at 13. It's a different thing. It's a different thing. Are you with me or again me? Weren't the 7-7 bombers British as well? Yes, they were. They were all from Leeds because we got told, didn't we? The one who they eventually allowed to be buried in Pakistan so that his grave became a shrine, effectively. Can't remember his name, began with a T, but him, they made out he was a lovely lad. He worked in local chip shop and he played cricket and he was proper British until he decided to get on the tube and blow us all to smithereens, of course. You're right, Denise. Good memory. Thank you. Bodger, it's all made up as they go along. I think it probably is. Fraser Ford, but bad guys could attack any location. If trains get more police, they'll just go elsewhere. Well, yes, of course, Fraser. You can't stop a terrorist. You can't. You can put deterrence, you can whatever. But, if they want to do it, it's a cliche, they've only got to get lucky once. If you want to comment, please feel free. Dead simple to do. Just type a little message in the box. You'll have to be patient. We've got loads at the moment. If you'd like to donate some money to keep these broadcasts going, please click the little $ and donate whatever you fancy. Or alternatively, go to www.buymeacoffee.com and donate cash there. Come on, help me out. Let's move on. No, we have not been told the truth. Very simple, straight to the point. Roseth 22. Angry, not scared. There's traitors in the government, says Simon G. Thank you, my friend. Have you seen half the police officers, says Lee Streeton. I don't know what that means, my friend, but thank you. He says it's a terror attack. Well, I must admit, I can't see how it's not a terror attack myself, but then I'm not a copper. I haven't been to the Open University. I haven't got rainbow laces in my boots. Also, as well, this is going to bring up the whole idea that we've got to routinely arm the whole of the police force. Our good friend Kevin Hurley has been on this program many times. He was saying this. He used to run West London, basically, for the police, Notting Hill Carnival and all that. Saw him on GB News today, and he was basically saying, we've got coppers running towards this, but they haven't got any guns. The armed response unit, just because they were across the road, they were there as well. But ordinary coppers haven't got it. Britain is broken. You might want to talk about that. I'm guessing they mean, says Seb Wunderlich, not Islamic terrorism when they say not a terror attack. But clearly, this was a terror-creating attack for the train passengers. Well said, Seb. That's I think you've summed that up well. Jake Morton Brown, all we get is statements. I bet you all your donations we get told to not look back in anger. Jake, if they say that, I tell you what, if they say, don't look back in anger, sing kumbaya, we're stronger, and diversity is our strength, I will kick the telly in tonight. By the way, Jake, you haven't told us what you're cooking. It's Sunday, you normally do. I must tell you, Jake, inspired by you, but I think it's my recipe from Simple as Fat that you were using the other week. I've done a beautiful piece of beef brisket in red wine, onions, olives. Oh, man alive. I can smell it now. And I checked it just before I came on the show. I was going to turn it off. Then I thought, no, it's not quite falling off. I like it to be literally almost part of the gravy. It's got to be one of the best meals. English mustard, horseradish, cauliflower cheese, beef brisket, melt in your mouth, onions and olives. That's what I'm doing straight after the show. Richard Pope, Buster. Oh, Richard, you're the man who donated the money. Thank you very much, my friend. Buster Starmer buggering off to Brazil after he's robbed us all. Yeah, he is like the train robber, isn't he? He is. He's like the great train robber, yeah? I don't know anyone who likes that incompetent PM. He's not even fit to be called that, John. Well said, Richard. Thank you for your comments. UK video clips is straight to the point. He just says Starmer is full of shite. Naughty, but kind of right. FK Starmer and his cronies and their lives, says Davey A2E2Y on YouTube. Thank you for that. Jake's back. How long they blame us for the way Windrush was treated for this? Oh, I understand what you mean. Well, yeah, because they're saying one of them is from the Caribbean. I didn't really get that. I didn't really get why they were saying that. Paul Parmenter is an asshole. I don't understand that, but there we are. Thank you very much indeed, says August Moore. Was the two men? If so, there was a plan, i.e. it's terrorism. Yes, there was two people, and I would tend to agree with you. Mum to cuties. Cumbrian Mackham 9296. The British people are an annoyance to old two-tier Keir. Yes, we are. You're right. And then somebody else has just said traitor on Facebook. Tony Veens, I'm pretty sure he is talking about Keir Starmer. Should Keir Starmer be going to Brazil? I say no. Joanne Kempton 6691. She's donated £1 on a super sticker. I mentioned her before. Thank you very much indeed, Joanne. Anybody else going to donate today? Come on, I'm on fire. This show is a cracker. We haven't even started yet. Human devaluation, Union Jack, equals control and depopulation. Excuse me, says Paul in Newcastle. 9522. I think that's a pretty good point. By the way, my cold, as you know, have you noticed all the COVID, whatever it is going? At least now when I'm coughing, I'm not dying. So, yeah, we're getting somewhere. Let's move on. Starmer's first job is to keep the country and its people safe. He fails. Well, that's why I did this thing behind me today. The first duty of any government is the protection of its citizens. I don't know how he can have a picture of himself next to that. Have you noticed as well? He's definitely aging and he's looking worried. That's because his bum cheeks are just constantly clanging with whatever the latest cock-up is. If you want to talk about Rachel Reeves, feel free as well. She's going to get away with it. And I find that amazing. One rule for us, another rule for them. If they admit the problem, they'd have to address the illegal immigration crisis and lose what's left of their voters, says Simon. Good point, Simon. Johnny and Sue. Hi, John. Does anyone know the outcome of the assault crime against the police officers at Manchester Airport? Well, has that case been brushed under the carpet? No, one was found guilty, but he's appealed, hasn't he? But I haven't heard anything since then, so I don't know whether it's back in court. Simon says they're still free. Well, I'll look into that this week. Here's a nice one. John Lacey. This, I guess he's talking about people like me. He says the wife beaters are disappointed it wasn't a refugee. Yeah, I've seen your lefty bullshit all over Twitter this afternoon. You want to look up the word projection because people like you're the ones who are upset. Listen, the ordinary citizens who are worried about their wives, their sisters, their daughters, their brothers, their grannies, right, and being safe on the streets of the UK. You can call us gammon, you can call us whatever you want, John. We're not disappointed. How do you know we're disappointed? I was pleased that it wasn't terrorism. Until then, I thought, that's just bullshit. And how dare you say we're wife beaters? See, you people think you can say whatever. I must have had 100 people today call me a racist. So then I say, point to something that I've said that's racist. And they can't. They can't. And these are the Be Kind mob. These are the liberals. These people disgust me. But thank you for your comments, John Lacey. Twat. Paul Robon, we're being let down and put in peril at every turn. Can anybody truly say they feel safe? Nope. Just going about your normal business? No. And that alone is a reason enough for Starmer to go now. Simon says, careful, John. What do you want me to be careful about? I ain't going to be careful about anything. Hands up if you're sick of this SH1T, says Tracy Red. I like your style, Tracy. Very good indeed. GB News, this is Jake Morton Brown. We've got to say it as it is, Jake. I'm a big fan of GB News, but sometimes, and Jake is saying this, GB News sounded just like the BBC today. They had a copper on who was on London Bridge during those attacks, and even he made it out to not look back in anger. Does the mainstream narrative have no imagination? Well, to be fair, Jake, I think they're all petrified of Ofcom. They're absolutely petrified of getting closed down. I mean, that's one of the beauties of what I'm trying to do. And people like Dan Wootton, you know, we're on the internet, so we haven't got yet those kinds of restrictions. And I don't think I ever say anything that is, I certainly wouldn't say anything that's defamatory. And calling Keir Starmer a wanker isn't. That's just my opinion of him, right? And I could point to things. And calling her a crook, Rachel, well, I can point to the fact what she did was committed a criminal offence. So I don't think being on the internet doing this kind of broadcasting, I think it's about breaking boundaries and not going with the mainstream, lamestream narrative. Yes, but I'm not here just for outrage. I'm just not, and I'm sure people like Dan Wootton are the same. But if you're Ofcom regulated, as I well know, you're buggered, basically. Literally and metaphorically often. You're right, John. It is BS. How could they possibly rule out terrorism? Thank you very much indeed, Simon Hatt. Army on our streets now, says Nigel Britton. Maybe. Total cowards trying to kill innocent people, not expecting what was about to happen. But Starmer doesn't give a flying F, says Andy Borg. Thank you very much indeed. I got fed up watching GB News today as well. Knife crime, it isn't, because that's normally to do with rival gangs or drugs, says Denise Deacon. This was stab as many as you can. You're right, Denise. And by the way, Denise, then she's donated £1.99. Thank you ever so much, Denise. You're a top star. And I'll tell you how she did that. She clicked the little $sign. And don't forget, if you're watching this later, you can still donate after the show via YouTube. Quite a lot of people doing that. Pam Millett did it the other day. Somebody did it yesterday when I've forgotten the name. I do apologise. I'll mention it next time. So if you want to donate, feel free. Or go to www.buymeacoffee.com/JonGaunt. 58 people liking the show. It's important you like. And don't forget, the biggest thing you can do to help to get that algorithm kicking is simply to go to YouTube, look up John Gaunt TV, and then once you go to the page, a little pop-up will come up saying, do you want to subscribe? It doesn't cost anything. I don't know why it says subscribe, but if you want to join, that's what you do. You press that, it's free. Then you've got the archive of all of my podcasts, and there's hundreds, right? So you'll never be bored. You'll always find something that will get your juices flowing. I've also got to say thank you to Amy. Amy sent me a message via my website, which I hardly ever use now because they're a bit redundant, although I'm going to probably revitalize it. She sent me a message there at jongaunt.com, basically saying she used to listen to me with her dad when she was a teenager, and then she's listening now. And she said, you've been all over the world with me. I thought, hey, what's going on here? And what she meant was, when she can't listen live, she downloads, or she now gets them off, because you don't even have to download it now, do you? You can just get it off the YouTube site. And so she said, it's a bit of comfort. And my dad likes you so much, and I like you. And it's just a beautiful. And when people write to you like that, and I don't think they quite realise how much it matters. And it really does. Sorry, I'm getting a bit soppy, but thank you, Amy. Jake's back. The police should be armed. So many in other European countries are. Why not ours? You're right, Jake. Probably because the police are petrified of getting done when they use them. Well, yeah, look, let's face it. You only have to pull out your taser and you're up on a charge, aren't you? Gary Munnery, John, where can we get your simplest fat recipes? You can't. I withdrew it. However, I am coming under increasing pressure. People saying, can you just put them all on a book and give them away? Well, I'll have a look into it. But there were some brilliant recipes there. You're right. And all great food. And have you noticed how everything I said about low carb eating has come true? Everybody's pushing it now. Huh? Everybody's pushing it. And eating animal fat. Remember the Daily Mail stitched me up and said, oh, the diet that says eat fried breakfast. I've been proved right, though, haven't I? But there we are. I smell a rat with this one. It's not adding up, says Andrew Cottrell. Thank you, Andrew. Jake Morton Brown says, doing a garlic and thyme roast chicken. Oh, yeah, I got a load of fresh. The smell of thyme. Next to basil, it's got to be the nicest smelling herb, hasn't it? I've got some thyme yesterday, Jake, fresh in a pot. And I've whacked that into my thing today. My, what do you call it? Beef brisket. Oh, man alive. It's fantastic. He says, anyway, he's making a garlic and thyme roast chicken. Very nice. With proper homemade mash. Oh, yes. And my own gravy recipe. And, of course, Yorkshire puddings. You have Yorkshire puddings with everything, Jake. You're a pleb. I'm only pulling your leg. Andrew Cottrell, done that one. What's the next one? Starmer should go to Brazil and stay there, says Cumbrian Brian. Mackham, sorry. Starmer is devoid of a soul. He gives not a shit about what goes on here. I think you're right, Annette. That's certainly where I am. Den Spink says it's an act of terror, surely. Yes, of course it is. I don't know why we're going through this nonsense. All planned by our communist government, puppets of the WF, the WHO, and the UN, etc. They don't care. It's what they want. Thank you, Alison. Oh, Dark Angel, not heard from you for a long time. She says, I'm scared to go out after 5. Now the nights are dark. I can't tell you how I feel about the train and the people who suffered. It must have been terrifying for them. Get Labour out now. You're right, Angel, and we've got to keep trying to remember. We've got to remember the victims and their families and the relatives, because it's easy to get so outraged about Starmer and the rest of it and the terrorists, because, of course, they're fundamentally the people who are to blame. But we must remember that families will now, at this moment, be either grieving or worried sick. So you make a really good point. Thank you very much indeed. Jackie Ward says, I would love your simplest fat recipes. All right, when I finish the program, I'll have a chat with Lisa and see whether we can do something. We've got some domestic problems at the moment. Lisa's mum's very poorly, so it's not top priority, if you don't mind. Jake Morton Brown says, it's in my will to use my ashes as flour and bake me into a huge Yorkshire pudding. Yeah, very funny. Very funny. Very funny. Elric Plays Games says it's time to start looking for anti-stab vests, I guess. Unfortunately, you might be true. Well, look, that's it. I'm going to finish in a moment. If you want to get in just before I do finish, send a comment now. Even better, send a donation. Just press the little $sign. This is an extra show. You're not getting charged for it. It's an extra show. Click the $sign and donate a $5 or $10 or whatever you can afford, or a couple of quid. Likewise, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/JonGaunt and donate a $5 or $10, whatever you want to do. And you can specify whether it's for beer or whether it's for coffee, whichever. And that's it. That's me done. What's this? Let me just take some more before I go. Jake's going, bring back SAF. It was the best community. I was part of it and loved the recipes. I would subscribe tomorrow if it came back. Well, I've got a lot on my plate at the moment, but yeah, I understand what you mean. Historically, we're in an anarcho-tyranny reminiscent of revolutionary France. Is that France, that flag? I think it is. Philip Payne, thank you. To tidy up the streets before the Olympics, the Brazilian government were culling homeless children where they slept on the streets. Maybe that's how the top man at the UN is a Brazilian. I don't know about that, but that's horrendous if that's the case. And the netlock, I call Starmer the corporate hitman. He's owned by them and he does their bidding in their interests. Well, I don't know about you. It's kind of cheered me up having a bit of a rant this afternoon. So thank you for indulging me. Jackie Brown's just sent me Jackie Ward's Jackie Brown. Jackie Ward, that's a film, isn't it? Is that a Tarantino movie? Anyway, Jackie Ward sent me 3 red hearts. That's lovely of you. Thank you very much indeed. If you're a City fan, I hope you got over it now. Let's face it. I saw when we lost against, who were we playing? Wrexham. They were just better than us. And sometimes if you're into football and sport, you've got to just admit it. I saw some people say, oh, that third goal wasn't a goal because they fouled so-and-so in the 38th minute. And shut up, you pansies. We lost. We didn't play as well as we have been playing, but it's only one game. We're still going to win the division. So relax, for goodness sake. Please relax. What's it going to take for us to stop the terror in the UK, says Tech Junkie on YouTube? I don't know. I would have thought the 3 or 4 deaths we had last week and the rapes would be enough, but no, not for Starmer. He's emotionless. Did you see his pathetic statement he put out last night? There was no emotion. There was nothing. He is an automaton. He is like a Dalek where the batteries are running out. There was nothing. Like today, why hasn't he got on telly today? Why isn't he on telly today? Saying this is dreadful. I'm your Prime Minister. It's not going to happen again. He doesn't do any of that, does he? He's just buggering off to, where's he going? Brazil. With his budgie smugglers. He wasn't going to go. Let me just tell you about this COP concert. What's it called? COP convention and then the other thing. He wasn't going. He wasn't going. It's only because that gap-toothed idiot Zach has suddenly got more popular. He's thought, oh, well, I better do that to show my green credentials. It's despicable. It's absolutely despicable. And then all this has happened, not just what happened last night, but, you know, let's talk about the lady in Warsaw stabbed to death on a train platform. 19 times in the head and in the heart. What about the man who just goes into the bank to get his wages out for his staff, Asian geezer? Stabbed through the heart by some maniac migrant whose asylum claim was turned down. What about the guy who had to be paid to go back to Afghanistan after sexually abusing a 14-year-old girl? How about the yo-yo migrant who keeps coming back in and is still not out of the country? See, these are things I would suggest, Keir Starmer, forgive me, that you should get your finger out your arse and actually get sorted. But no, you off to Brazil, where the nuts come from. You disgust me. Going loco down in Acapulco. Right, that's me done. Oh, that I'm going to have to read out this one because this is good. Starmer's statement last night was AI generated, surely. If it was, it would be a bit more human than Starmer. Brilliant audience reception today. Thank you. If you enjoy the show, tell all your friends about it. Give them the link. Get them listening as well and watching. Get them also to subscribe to JonGaunt TV on YouTube. Let's get those numbers right through the roof. Get everybody you know to subscribe. It's free. But if you want to give me some cash, dead simple, www.buymeacoffee.com/JonGaunt or do it here on YouTube. Right, that's me done. I will be back tomorrow night at 6:30 as per usual. Until then, if you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug, and don't forget to tell them you love them. See you tomorrow. All the best. Thanks.